We move on to NCCS Pune. I request Dr. Bhagwat to kindly take over the proceedings. Over to Dr. Bhagwat, NCCS Pune.
So good afternoon. As we celebrate this remarkable event of the World Bioproduct Day, the BioE3 Way today, I think today we've really witnessed all the voices across the city so far have emphasized how bold and visionary India's BioE3 policy announced by the Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji really is. This is especially because it has culminated in several efforts all over the nation, and all these efforts are channelized towards holding the promise and actually witnessing the promise to advance responsible biotech innovation towards the development of safe, scalable, and sustainable technologies. Over centuries, urbanization has catalyzed the rapid adaptation of technologies and their developments and their applications towards improving the quality of human life. I'm sorry, I'm waiting for my presentation to be ready.
Share the entire screen, entire text. This is YouTube. Stop sharing. Stop sharing.
Log out from the conference. So can you see the presentation? You can see the presentation.
So they go to the screen.
Still it is.
Go to the bottom. Three dots. Three dots. Here. Here is a full screen, so they can read screen for us. It is there.
Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, yes, the presentation is here. You can delete the small pop-up screen which is coming at the bottom. You can just cross it. Yeah, this one.
So is it fine? Check it. It's fine, I think.
It's fine.
This can be crossed. The small screen that is appearing. Yeah,
This
can be crossed. Yes, full screen.
Is it okay now?
And then duplicate slideshow. Yeah, okay.
That is creative.
That is good.
Logic.
So as I was saying, over the centuries, urbanization has catalyzed the rapid adaptation of technological developments and thereby contributed to a huge improvement in the value of human life. Yet, over the years, we've realized its associated challenges. In addressing these, the most likely to be effective solutions will necessitate an integration of sustainable practices into city living. Towards achieving this, biotechnology in the context of urban biomanufacturing and industrial waste utilizations will play a major role for the creation of resource efficient and environmentally friendly urban ecosystems. So BRIC-NCCS has always been committed to addressing societal problems, especially those relating to healthcare. Over the years, identification of innovation gaps has been pivotal in the development of technologies and resources at NCCS. A further step that we now visualize taking ahead is the establishment of a bioengineering research center, or the BRC as we call it, that will actually be useful in leveraging the technical and innovative strengths that we have achieved through partnerships with the academia in the past years, but also by engaging with society as well as industry partners. Now, the industry engagements are especially important in a city like Pune, which is already recognized to be an industrial hub with the chemical industry, the automotive industry, the IT, as well as biotechnology related industries that strongly impact the economies in our ecosystem and play an important role in development of the city. So what we visualize at BRIC-NCCS is actually apply our the research that we do in developing and as well as the state-of-art infrastructure and facilities that we house at NCCS. We will actually channelize them into developing specific strengths using genetic engineering and synthetic biology to actually focus on developing some of the leaves that we have from our biobanks, the human and animal cell lines, as well as the microbial repositories that we have as our holdings. Our capabilities in computational analysis will also be pivotal in this towards bioprocess development as well as establishing proof of concept technologies. And these will be possible through the implementation of the classical synthetic biology, biofoundry type of approaches in the form of closed loop projects wherein we will design, build, learn, and test and learn towards establishing these processes. So the vision that we have to take ahead is the establishment for primarily of a microbial biofoundry that will leverage the holdings in our microbial repository that have been collected over the last several decades. And the purpose of this particular effort, which is funded by the Department of, which has been approved for and funded by the Department of Biotechnology, is the development of chassis organisms, which will be a step ahead in making ourselves actually Atmanirbhar by actually trying to recover some of the or save from the licensing costs that we otherwise are bound to pay. Apart from that, we also have a vision of developing several cell-based diagnostics or therapeutics and drug deliveries. And apart from just establishing a proof of concept, we will also facilitate early scale-up process optimization, wherein our partnership with the local ecosystem of academics, the societal developments, as well as industry, will actually facilitate such a development and engage with processes developed aside those only in NCCS. Now, achieving this, we believe, will create novel products and processes which will be essential for supporting societal requirements towards safer, cleaner, and efficient urban ecosystems. Now, apart from enhancing the ecological footprint, what we believe is that these type of endeavors will create new industries, jobs, and markets for bio-based products and several types of economic opportunities. These could help in achieving India's net zero goals by promoting regenerative biomanufacturing and a circular bioeconomy. All this will be made possible through developing dialogues, approaches, and implementation across society, academia, and the industry. So with this aim in mind, actually we have the next feature that we would like to showcase is a panel discussion in which we will actually try to initiate some of these communications and conversations with the different stakeholders that I've been talking about. And I'll hand this over to Dr. Dheeraj Dhotre of NCCS, a senior scientist at NCCS, to take the panel discussion ahead. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Bapat. Thank you, Dr. Bapat. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Dheeraj Dhotre from NCCS. And on behalf of NCCS and DBT, I warmly welcome you all to this panel discussion on World Bioproduct Day 2025, featuring voices across the cities, one nation, one day, 1 hour per city. Since it is the event for a city, we took a privilege to call experts across the city. So we have 2 experts from the neighboring institutes, 2 of our internal experts, and 1 representing the Pune-based company. So over the next 30 minutes, we will explore how India's BioE3 policy, shaped by DBT's visionary leadership, is enabling a vibrant biomanufacturing ecosystem across the country. So it is my privilege, before we start the discussion, it is my privilege to introduce 5 of our distinguished experts who have made significant contributions to microbial biotechnology and industrial applications. So I start with Dr. Syed Dastagir. So he's a senior principal scientist at CSR NCL Pune. So Dr. Dastagir has over 16 years of research leadership in microbial systematics and biotechnology. His discoveries of novel microbial species and innovations in biopolymers such as bacterial nanocellulose has found industrial applications, and he has several patents on his name related to the bioproducts which he has developed. Then we have Dr. Tushar Lodha. He is a scientist in the bioenergy group at Agarkar Research Institute, Pune, where he leads research on microbial bioenergy processes, including biohydrogen, bio-CNG, and microbial electrosynthesis. His work focuses mainly on translating microbial diversity into scalable, low-carbon bioprocesses for urban biomanufacturing. Then we have Mr. Jagannath Sonavane. He is a chairman and director of AB Source Biologics Private Limited. It is a pioneering company who is engaged in development and commercialization of bacterial cultures used in dairies, probiotic formulation, cosmetics, and even in feed industry. He has over 2 decades of entrepreneurial leadership, and he has founded and led multiple ventures. I will not name all of them, but he has at least 5 different ventures. Essentially, Mr. Sonavane has expertise and experience in biomanufacturing, business development, and creating global standard bio-based products for self-reliance India. Now, I would like to introduce our internal expert, Dr. Avinash Sharma. He is a senior scientist at NCCS, and he has a specialization in microbial ecology, metabolic engineering, and microbial bioproduct development. His research focuses on designing and engineering microbial communities for bioprocess application, with a particular emphasis on production of bio-based chemicals like 2-PE and PHB. His work bridges environmental microbiology and industrial biotechnology to develop sustainable solutions for bioeconomy. Then we have our last, but not the least, of course, Dr. Amit Yadav as our internal expert. He's a senior scientist again in NCCS, and he has a specialization in microbial metabolism and plant microbe interaction. His group has made significant contributions to understanding phytoplasma. These are a group of plant pathogenic bacteria. Alongside, he also does a lot of work on understanding microbial metabolic engineering and synthetic biology for bioprocess development. Dr. Yadav's interdisciplinary work bridges fundamental microbiology with applied biomanufacturing. So with this background, I would like to start the discussion. We all unanimously agree that the BioE3 framework and DBT is enabling an ecosystem where biotechnology can thrive beyond laboratories, and we can take the research now to the biomanufacturing scale and for urban applications. So with this, I would like to start with my first question to Dr. Syed. So Dr. Syed, your group, you have published over 70 novel different species, across 16, 20 years now. So how do you foresee that India's microbial diversity, how it can contribute in developing next generation bioproducts? And how do you see the urban market for this?
Thank you, Dheeraj, for inviting. See, it's irony that in India we cannot patent the cultures, even though India is a big, what you call mega biodiversity hotspot, but we only need to develop a process. Because when you look at the golden era of antibiotic, majority people are very focused, narrow-minded screening the antibiotic. If you look at a classical example of remdesivir, which is not meant for the antiviral, especially on COVID cases, but it has repurposed. But nobody is thinking of repurposing the bugs. So what antibiotic produced in 70s, 60s, still people are looking for the same antibiotic. When you look at any microbe, it produces thousands of metabolites. You have to repurpose the bugs. I will give one of our, you talk about bacterial nanocellulose. Majority people talk about cellulose means it comes from, mainly come from plant. There are bacteria which produces 100% pure cellulose. When you talk about plant, you need to do the 40% of your cost extraction of cellulose in plant goes for the pre-treatment. Then the environmental hazard. So treatment with acid and all those. Here, simple process, bacteria produces the cellulose. Downstreaming is simple NaOH treatment to remove the bacteria. Then your material is ready. So we demand by doing this, single culture can demonstrate. At present, we are getting around 450 gram of hydrogel which has of 98% water content, but it has lot of potential in medical application.
Right.
So what I was telling is repurposing is needed for the bugs rather than the drugs, what the people are thinking of it. So even we get a same organism in a same environment, but it may be adapted to different ecological niche. It may produce different what it has been reported.
Right. So I completely agree with you. But I mean, to find out, the organism which is, the production is scalable and which can be taken up to the market, probably you will need, lot of organisms to screen first. And for that, I mean, India provides the best platform because we have, such a vast diversity. So how do you, I mean, what is your approach usually when you want to find out any, particular product?
See, what we start when you start isolation, we look at the very standard approach. I'm not looking for a very generic kind of. We put a certain substrate. Like I'm looking for a cellulose producing. There are certain standard chemicals need to be incorporated in the media. The selective isolation should be there rather than a very routine kind of isolation. Then only one, and obviously students should have patience when the PhD students who works on these kind of projects, they need a patience to look at. The same on bacterial cellulose, from 500 isolate, we got one strain is producing a better cellulose.
Right.
But for 500 isolate, we have to understand all the process to see that which one is the best one. The ultimate goal comes from the student, and he both has to have a patience to look into the process, how to scale up those things.
So I agree, and we have Dr. Avinash, Amit, and also Dr. Tushar. We have also worked on novel species, and we have published so many novel species. So what are, I mean, in short, what are your approaches, to take it to biohealth? How do you screen them, and what?
Yeah, I think like Dr. Nasir said that it's very important to be selective. So when you are selective, that means you are very focused on what you actually need. So that the selection of these particular strains are very, very important. There are millions of cells in the soil if you go by that. But what is the requirement of your project is important. So I think selection of a right strain is very important.
I completely agree with Dr. Dastagir sir that India has a huge biodiversity, and as a human being is a very selfish animal. We always go to nature and try to find the activity of our purpose. We get it into a lab and we try to simulate the same thing in a lab and we try to exploit that. And as Dastagir sir rightly pointed out, that there is need of different purpose of the same strain, and selective screening will help for your purpose. for what you are trying to isolate the culture. But for repurposing, you have to screen for the existing organism. So here the role of culture collections like NCMR, MCM or NCIM is very vital because they harbor all the cultures that can be possible in the India. So the repurposing can be, we have to find out a high throughput method for screening this repurposing, because already we know something about those cultures and we want to find out something more about those cultures. So that is what I think we should do, and I think NCCS is already started doing some of such steps, and I think that will really help us to repurpose the same strain for some other applications.
I completely agree with you, Dr. Tushar, and we all, I mean, are quite an expert in identifying and selecting out organisms which has some biotechnological potential. But the biggest hurdle that we face, is to scale up. From the laboratory scale process development to scaling up and taking it to the finally into the market is the biggest gap which we see. So Mr. Sonavane, from the entrepreneur's lens, how do you see what is the biggest barrier of scaling up urban biomanufacturing in India? Where do you find out the biggest problem?
First of all, thank you very much for this opportunity. This was a very informative statement, like screening the microorganisms for the particular application. After screening, identification, making the proof of concept. After that, the real story starts, the scaling up. As a commercial point of view, scaling up has a lot of hurdles, a lot of barriers. They're all scientific people sitting here. You all are agree that whatever works on the lab scale or shake class scale may not work at a 5-liter fermenter or a 10-liter fermenter. And that is what we have gone through from last 10, 15 years. The major hurdle is, because if you see there are 3 major hurdles. One is, of course, every entrepreneurs face the same issue of excess of funds or availability of the funds. But before that, I would put that the identification of a right target. Because majority of the time we select the product because we like it, because we have worked on it. We may be emotional on that product. As a scientific perspective, we say, okay, this product works, but where is the demand? Whether really the market wants that particular product. So the process starts from there. So identification of a right choice, right product or right technology, which we are going to take it to the scale up. Because ultimately, if you are not selecting the right product, there is no market, so there is no question of scaling up. So the first thing is identification of a right candidate, whether it is a product, service, or technology. Then the main challenge comes in the scaling up. So scaling up is not only a land, it is not only a building with 4 columns and beams. If you see, the biomanufacturing mainly revolves around the fermentation and related technologies, which has to be in a aseptic clean room environment. The capex is very high. Sometimes people have money, they have land, they create an infrastructure, they put up a 1,000-liter fermenter. Where is the skilled manpower? So first thing is the infrastructure, the capex. Second is the skilled manpower. In spite of having these 2, the third major challenge is the consistency. Many of the times we fail in process optimization. We try it out, we get some product, we don't get quality. Sometimes we get quality, we don't get quantity. So it is all related to the commercial viability of the project. After scaling up, we take a first batch, third batch, 10th batch, 100th batch. It goes to the customer. Customer says, "Oh, I'm sorry, it is not like my expectations." We again have to go back and do the reverse engineering. So it's basically the first thing is selection of the candidate product, then infrastructural cost. Second is the scale up. Third is the appropriate manpower. Because many of the times in last almost 14, 15 years of practical experience, many of the times after 2-3 years, people give up. They say, "Arey, nahi hoga, it won't work." Then the project starts. And after that, the last point, which is probably you will say it is not related to scale up, but it is directly, indirectly related to the scale up, is the marketing and the product acceptance in the market. If customer doesn't accept the product, so probably the scale up doesn't make sense. So the major hurdles: access to the funds, then availability of the appropriate skilled manpower. Because superficially, Dr. Saab will agree, everybody will agree, fermentation looks very easy, but it is not like that. So all these points put together, there are hurdles, there are barriers, but there are solutions also.
Right.
So if you allow me, I can talk about the solutions, or we can go to the next question.
So I think even the time scale is a big factor for a person who is starting up in the industry, and when they are investing into scaling up process. So how do you see you all have we have attended several meetings in NCCS, and NCCS is coming up with the bioengineering research center. So how do you see how you envision BRC how it can help in the scaling up process? So probably we can start with you, and we also have researchers, so they can also.
I think partial discussion we already had in the last meeting during that CPI discussion. So this center probably help us to optimize the processes at a lab scale, or maybe a little pilot scale. But commercial, it's altogether a different ball game. So probably NCCS or any BRC-like centers may not help startups or entrepreneurs at the commercials. But that collaboration, whether you call it as a PPP model, public-private partnership, or whatever the model, collaboration model you talk about, but under BioE3 policy, that is going to help the startups and entrepreneurs. See, practically, as an entrepreneur, we do not want to invest on R&D, honestly, even though we like to invest because of two things: the cost and the manpower and the time. So if the technology is readily available with NCCS or XYZ Institute, we can really take up to the scale up immediately and go to the market. Our expertise is with the market. We have the market availability. We know how to get into the market. So we need the support from these kind of institutes like BRC centers. You develop the technologies at a scale up, the pilot scale or a lab scale, give us for the commercialization. So whatever terms and conditions. So there should be a distinct division of work.
Right.
The laboratory scale technology should be developed by the institutes, and it should go to the industries for commercialization.
I see. So, Dr. Syed, Dr. Tushar, would you like to?
I would like to add. So I, as an academician, I always talk about TRL, technology readiness level, and industry always talk about CRL, commercial readiness level.
Right.
And I always think of third term, that is MRL, that is market readiness level, because these three things are very important. If you want to go to market and sell a product, each step has equal value and importance. So when we are starting any research in a lab, we should always be associated with a team of industry who are giving input about their commercial value of that product, so that whatever research we are doing in developing a technology, it will not go in vain, or it will be more refined process so that it can be commercialized very easily. And
So do you see, I mean, with the BioE3 policy, do you see the scenario is changing? The researchers are attaching more with the industry, to see the end target and then start a.
yes, that is happening, because many meetings which are happening for BioE3, most of the time academician and industry peoples are sitting together, and there is a lot of brainstorming which is going on, and which is very positive sign, because it was not happening few years back, and that is what I think we are going towards a good way where we can reach to a market and where we can actually deliver a product which can be a societal important.
Thank you. Dr. Syed.
See, first thing is we lot of challenges comes when you talk to market, means people will thought of comparing with already existing products. Can you compete with the chemical product? Which is highly impossible with the biological product. But if you look at into the sustainability, this BioE3 gives the good sustainability. When you talk about the carbon reduction and all those, these are the only product which can reduce the carbon content. But coming to the BRC, sustainability is very much important. One-time investment, infrastructure build-up, how to take up for a longer goal is very much. Funding should be in a sustainable way. Then only we can see the succeed in the BRC. Another interesting aspect, regulatory reforms are needed for the BioE3 to succeed. Because regulatory, whatever we have is on drugs and vaccines are very well established. When you talk about microbial product, there are not complete information available.
I want to.
Yeah, only probiotic have been well designed, But if you talk about probiotic, nobody nowadays they are coming to next generation probiotic. India is very far from thinking of next generation because the majorly gram-negative bacteria they are looking for the next generation sequence. What you call probiotic. That kind of you have to think a little bit far than the Western people. Now they have already started clinical trials on the gram-negative bacteria.
True. Yes,
Yeah.
completely agree. I want to come back to this point later, but I would like to know, Dr. Bapat's vision. I mean, how you see, foresee BRC, and what is the role you see that BRC is going to play? I mean, they have commented about, how
Yeah.
BRC is going to be.
I think every time I'm always enthused by these conversations that come up when we meet across these different stakeholders. I think the most important thing for BRC is to actually, what was said earlier, bridge over identifying a right organism with the right product which will be market available. Over this, we will have to overcome all these hurdles of identifying or scaling up over the different TRLs, the CRLs, and the MRLs. And I think in the crux, I think that is the ecosystem that we wish to develop at BRC, wherein through our engagements with the industry, with the academia, who have, say, for example, some lab process that really has potential, but a researcher may not be able to really evaluate its market readiness. So I think on a single platform, if we can provide all these type of things and probably address some of the regulatory issues as well, I think that would be a parameter that would define the success of BRC. And I hope with continuing conversations like these, we would be able to succeed.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. So, Dr. Syed, you said, about the regulatory thing. So, I would like you to share your experience, on technology transfer. So, because you have developed multiple technologies and you are also in discussion with industry. So, what makes microbial innovation ready for industrial adoption, and what are the challenges you face in technology transfer?
When you talk about this regulatory kind of thing, when you develop any product, they ask you at least minimum animal data. When you provide animal data, again, question comes whether those are GMP kind of thing, whether the data is a GMP lab produced. By lab, like any academic lab, they cannot give that much of money to produce the GMP lab data to suffice the industry requirement. Certain stage, up to one stage, say 10-liter pilot scale is the capacity of any academic lab. We can demonstrate up to that. Then later, hand holding is very much important from the industry. So until unless they are come in that way, we cannot go beyond that scale. Hand holding from the initial stage is very much important rather than coming in the last stage for commercialization. Because if you tap the problem in the very initial stage, both will be in a win-win situation. That is the.
But overall, I mean, in NCL, you have developed numerous products, and so are there any situations where industry comes and asks you for all the regulatory approvals, everything, the final product ready, so that they can take it to the market? Does it happen anytime, or they handhold right from the start?
Some companies are needed the complete data. Again, they'll ask if I give some CRO generated data, they tell us that you should go with some of the government lab where we can take out some authentic data kind of thing. So right now, they need a complete solution. The next step, they want to start with the manufacturing itself. Until that data, we need to develop in what BRC can give that kind of information to that. The next day, they can develop the product and commercialize.
Right. So along with the role, of course, we know that in a country like India, we need multiple biomanufacturing hubs. But along with that, we also see that there is a growing importance of having microbial or cell repositories. NCL has one, ARI also has one, and NCCS also has one. So, Mr. Sonawde, what is your take on this? How these repositories are helpful for industries, and how they can be utilized in more, in a commercial way, or
So, Dr. Saeed rightly said, selection of an microorganisms for the particular objective. So, way back in 2014, our journey started with a collaboration with an institute called India Raikana. They also have the repository for the dairy related application. So since one of my colleague was postdoctorate from the same institute, so using those old connections, we started talking to them. This is a particular example how industry and academia can join hands together and develop the viable product in the market. So they said, this is what the products available, which can give you a code. It's just a simple code. So we took the strain and the basic media formulation to grow. That's all the technology was transferred for a very minimal cost. After getting the technology, media, everything got changed 360 degrees. Nothing is remained as whatever the technology was transferred, nothing is there now. It's a total different technology. But the strain was important. They have given the strain and basic formulation of the media. Then after that, we started buying one after one after one. So we have a library of around 125 strains now, which are widely used in the dairy industry. Let it be a low-fat curd or mishti dahi or shrikhand or yogurt or laban, kefir or whatever. So it's a library of 125 strains. This is what we have grown in last 10 years with India Raikana. So the same thing like NCL, we are in touch with each other for different applications. So wherever you go, whether you go to the dairy or probiotic industry or feed formulation, the cattle probiotic, everywhere there is a microorganism. There is a microorganism. It's a basic component or raw material of any formulation.
And since you said, I mean, industries do not really want to start from step zero. Repositories like this probably are immensely useful for industry, to start with.
And anyway, we cannot patent the microorganisms. So there is a question of inventing or finding out a new microorganisms. But the basic process, as Sir rightly said, at least 10 liter fermented process, if it is available, it is easy for us to take it to the commercial.
Right. Thank you. So Dr. Avinash, you have led the microbial NCCS microbial repository for last 4 years, and you are also a curator of IDA. So where do you see the repository's role in the biomanufacturing era or BioE3 policy? First, if you can explain what is IDA and then elaborate.
So IDA is basically it's an authority which give you a kind of privilege, you can say, where any culture which is deposited in this repository is actually recognized through the globe. So whatever IDA repository we have, if we have your organism in one other repository, that means it is kind of accessible and you fulfill the norms of patenting any application you have. And coming to the repository, so over the last 4 years, or maybe more than 4 years, because I was working on the NCMA project also. So what I have observed is while talking to the stakeholders and giving services, depositing deposits, that microbial strains are not the scientific asset. To be very honest, they are like the very useful resources. Okay, and why they are important? Because if you look at since we cannot see them and we oversee them, but if you look at the upscale property of these organisms, it's very, very easy for us to upscale a microorganism compared to plant, or we have to upscale any of the animal tissue. So this is the beauty of microorganism, and why microbial resources are very, very important in this situation. Just imagine Taq polymerase, thermos aquaticus. If the isolator would have missed this organism, where we would have stood actually, right? So that is the beauty. So with changing climate, everything, it's not just the extinction of plant and animal, but also the extinction of microorganisms. So the organism which you can find today may not be available in the ecosystem. Okay? So it's like once you lost it, it cannot be recovered. So that's how microbial resource center are actually are very important, because they have all the resources. Considering the repository of NCCS, since India's huge ecosystem, I mean, I think we have covered almost every ecosystem, may it be wetland, may it be forest, may it be hot stream, may it be glaciers, may it be any kind of ecosystem. So like there was someone who was saying that each organism which is present in any ecosystem has a different role to play, right? So based on that ecosystem also, we can also strategically plan that what are the organisms, what is the ecosystem basically. I think we have already done that kind of analysis of which ecosystem is more prevalent for which kind of enzymes based on our genomic data and all. So I think these are the important aspects of microbial repository. And coming to ID, it's very important to have ID facility because if you look at the recent advances in biotechnology and especially the IDA, so what is happening now is the patents which are over like 30 years. So now patent depositories are unable to take a decision on that, whether to discard them, whether to put them in the biodiversity, in the general deposit. But if an organism is coming from India or from Indonesia, which doesn't support general deposit without prior information, you cannot do that. So I think with our policies of NBA and IDA being here, it's very important for the Indian researcher to submit it here so that after repurposing, right? After 30 years, once your patent is over, the strain is still useful. So we can put it in the open collection and still explore.
Yes, very well said. So basically, repositories can help industrial applications. Of course, people can exploit them for various industrial application. Microbial conservation, which you said, first, which again aligns very well with BioE3, sustainable environment, and of course the employment
and protection as well. I'm sorry, I forgot to add that point. So protection is also very important. The resources we have generated should not be misused. So all these legalities of being DNR, designated national repository, it's very important that what is going out of the country so that we have the right on our resources.
Thank you. So Dr. Amit, I would like to ask you about the AMR repository and how it is helpful. We know that antimicrobial resistance is a global issue, and it is a very big issue. And another next question I'll ask you right away because we are short of time. Second is we are also developing SRC. So if you can elaborate on SRC.
So to go with your first question on AMR repository, why we are having AMR repository to begin with, I need not to explain how important AMR issues these days at the global level. So there is a lot of research going on in India across the world, but the repository, AMR repository, will majorly serve as a test bed for all the researchers, those who are working on AMR and are looking for the organisms which they need. So if you are looking for an organism which is having a particular characteristic of resistance or susceptibility to any particular antibiotic, instead of searching into the wild or instead of searching into and actually going and collect it, you can actually search those organisms in the repository and can procure it from here and use. If you're working on a particular antimicrobial peptide, if you're working on any compound or any molecule which is supposed to be an antipathogenic, you can always use these organisms to test your compound. So this is very critical aspect. Secondly, this particular AMR repository is actually a collection not only from the clinical setup, but we also have the cultures coming from environmental setup. Like we have the actual environmentals from like wild environment like river sediments or other things, but at the same time the human setups like fisheries or poultries or the veterinary setups. So we have a good collections which represents most of the hotspots of the AMR in India. I hope I have answered your question here. Coming to the second question on production repository, there's a lot of discussion which we have done on how urban biomanufacturing is important. So one of the critical aspects of any biomanufacturing is to have a strain which is capable of producing your product, right? So, and as everybody knows that the strain should have certain capacities of having particular characteristic and particularly the secretory nature of the enzyme if you are working on that or something like that, and should sustain all the fermentation growth parameters. So those are called as production strains. So one has to really spend a lot of time invest a lot in actually generating the strain which is capable of sustaining to the fermentation growth parameters. So under the BioE3 policy and with the recent ongoing DBT call, this is already there. So we have a section in the repository called as SRC, Strain Resource Center for Fostering High Performance Biomanufacturing. Now here in this particular section we have strains, though we have started recently, We have strains which are capable of having production capacity. So these are the different strains. Like for example, there are a couple of bacteria. There is one alga. There is unicellular alga. There is a fungi, and there is a yeast also. So one can choose one of them based on whatever you are working on, and use these strains under standard licensing agreement, and they can use for their R&D or directly for the commercial purpose, which is already rightly available on the NCS website.
Yes, thank you, Amit. So, to conclude the entire session, what I see, I mean, the repository part, which all three institutes have, the actual POC, which all the scientists across the country are developing, and, the manufacturing and marketing. All three are, are interconnected with each other, and they should work synergistically the way they are working right now. So I think, having all these three under the same roof and then developing new processes probably is the future. And I mean, on behalf of all of us, I would like to thank DBT and BioE3 policy, how they are fostering the biomanufacturing in India. Dr. Bapa, you would like to conclude or say something?
No, I think we should hand it over to our next entrepreneur. So thank you all for being here and for these valuable conversations.
Thank you.
I think Dr. Jyoti will introduce today's.
So next we present a local success story. In this section, we are pleased to feature Dr. Ashish Polkade, who is Director of BESTECO Solutions and Technologies Private Limited, a company that has been successful at developing innovative biology-driven solutions and bioproducts in the waste-to-energy and waste-to-value landscape. A quick introduction to Dr. Polkade. Dr. Ashish Polkade has a PhD in microbiology and over 22 years of diverse experience spanning academia, industry, and environmental innovation in institutions like Agarkar Research Institute, National Center for Cell Science, Raj Industries, KF Bioplants, and Rise and Shine Biotech. Dr. Polkade is the founder of BESTECO Solutions and Technologies Private Limited, a company dedicated to sustainable waste management and bio-based energy solutions. He has delivered 9 industry-ready technologies, has filed 3 Indian patents, and has authored 29 research publications and a book chapter. His innovative work in microbial formulations, anaerobic digestion, and waste valorization has earned the National Biotech Award 2023, awarded by the Association of Microbiologists of India. A true champion of sustainable innovation, he has also established and leads other training and outreach activities aimed at fostering a mindset that favors sustainability. He regularly conducts biogas mastery workshops and field expeditions towards promoting circular economy practices. He founded the Environmental Leaders Club, an initiative that has empowered more than 450 professionals across 6 countries through sustainability-focused programs. I invite Dr. Polkade to share his bio-entrepreneurship success stories that lie at the intersection of science, society, and the environment.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Jyoti, for this introduction. On the onset of this program, I would like to thank. Everyone can hear my sound?
Yes, you are audible.
Somebody asked question or something.
Yeah, Dheeraj one second. Dheeraj one second. There's some message.
Supply shares alerts.
Can you answer for the burning?
You can simply say yes.
So thank you so much for the meeting and National Center for Cell Science, Dr. Bapa ma'am and everyone, to allow me to speak on this platform about this World Bioproduct Day. So the topic is microbial solutions for urban and industrial waste management. So since this is my current institute, I'm glad to be here again on this platform to talk about these sustainable products and these things. World Bioproduct Day when I come to know about this, because this program has been not percolated to the industrial scale. So 2 days back I Google it for those things and what are the policies and those things. So I found it very interesting and very useful for us to be a part of this World Bioproduct Day. So I wish all of you happy World Bioproduct Day. So byproducts are reasonably, there are three factors, which is renewable, biodegradable, and environmental friendly. So these three factors should be there when we say about the bioproducts. It's not only from microbial; it can be from a plant also, microorganisms, organic waste, any kind of thing which has been originated from the renewable biological resource. So that's the main thing. So I'm on this platform because we believe that waste is not a waste and it's a resource. And about some sustainable products when we do for. So I think it's a best platform to present on this thing. It's not a very, I have only 15 minutes to present. So what I will do, I will have some story for you all, because you all been hearing from the morning some different sessions. So it's just like a story. I will go along that what I had done and how the process has been. This program has been transformed to now the BESTECO solutions and technology. So it's whenever we say a biologist, and the waste management. If we think about that, there are three things only: biogas, composting, and industrial waste management. So these are the three concerns when we start. When I started my career in this sector from NCCS, I started serving to some societies for the municipal solid waste. Then I slowly realized within a 1 year time only that this is not the right way to go, because it's the financial sustenance was not there. The stakeholders were many and the decision makers were less. So I shifted my focus towards the industrial waste and biogas. So these were the things. So I will go by story. When the major story is the agar waste management unit, so which we had developed. This is whenever the problems are coming to me, I tried to resolve it with the sort of multidisciplinary knowledge, not only biological mode, but yes, as we all know that there is a when the nature exists in a consortium. So whatever things are there, there are multiple roles from the each field. So that's why everything whatever I develop is with the multidisciplinary approach. So it's a KF bio plant. When they come to us with the problem that they are being the largest Asia's largest floriculture industry. It is based in Pune, and they have a problem that the agar which is generated in the lab was not degradable, and they used to dump into the ground. And after 5 years also, it is not getting degraded. So for that purpose, we started working on it, and we work on a very small scale, and slowly we move on to the higher scale. And today we are processing it. Processing this agar waste at a scale of 5 tons per day, means around 18,000 tons per year. So that's the way wherein we convert this agar waste into a liquid, and which liquid can fit into the MPCB norms. So that's the major part which we had developed. So initially we installed 1 ton per day capacity reactor, and now we are in 2 tons per day capacity reactor for this. And it's wonderfully operated. The water which is generated from this, they are using it for the agricultural purpose. So this is a current protocol. It was no degraders and those things. These are the things. Herein, as I told you, all it's a consortium, and there are multiple processes involved. It's not only a microbiological process. It has to be incubated with the microbes for a certain amount of time, and then it has to be processed with the different kind of methods. So this we have installed in Pune, in Rise and Shine and Care Bio plant. So both the things. So yes, the second technology is about the food liquefaction technology. So this we are working on this from last 3 years, wherein we are trying to liquefy the hotel waste. The small hotel holders, hotel owners who wish to give up their waste, but they have a norms that they could not do so if they are producing more than 100 kg waste. So they have to process at their own. So for them, we had developed some technology wherein the microbial resource has been used, and the food is converted into a slurry-based model, and that slurry can be utilized for the higher biogas potential is there for that. This is under patent. It has been submitted. Whenever we think about the bioproducts, everything like it's a very wonderful story which is very near to my heart, because whenever we resolve some issue, it gives a pleasure to us that we are serving in some way to the Mother Earth what we could do. So it's like a few years back when we found that this is a Patanjali Ayurved. In Patanjali Ayurved, there was a reactor which was installed from the Pune-based company only, but it was not running from 3 years. Last it was debug, and in the debug reason was that even if we are thinking now that there are multiple units which are running for the waste management, but the technical know-how is not there. So they have a total 12 organizations, 12 food. This is a food plant. So total 12 companies involved, wherein apple juice, aloe vera juice, or jadi booty, and some Chyawanprash, and those all industries, food waste industries. So whatever waste comes from it, we used to treat it into this digester. But it was not a treatment, it was a dumping, because there was no technical scientific evaluation of the product, that what is going in. So what happened after 2 years, this complete unit, this is a 90 ton per day unit, it is got debugged, and after that they could not process it. So they asked me to have the different plant, which is a composting plant, and they wish to treat all those waste into composting plant. But when I went there, they showed us this model, and we restarted with the proper technical processes, and standard operating protocols has been standardized, and we revamped this unit, and it was really a good experience, and very nice thing. Now at the present day, they are utilizing complete energy, whatever generated from the biogas. They are utilizing it for their 12 units to run their boilers. So yes, these are some consultancy based products. I would like to go through the products, but it's from my since my company, I will skip some of the slide because of the time. This is vision of my company. There are some core values: innovation, impact, sustainability, clarity, contribution, and collaboration. So these are our clients, which are with whom we are working as present. Our main domain at present is the biogas industry, wherein this product is also a wonderful product which we developed from a waste actually. So if you find out, there are multiple kind of tea waste which is generated. So from tea waste we had generated some product. It has been tested, and it is already been in a market with a it's just like a booster product, and which can enhance the biogas yield by 25 to 45%. Biogas yields always depend on the TS and VS basis, calculated on the TS and VS basis. So the total, whatever the total solids are there, so on the basis of that total solids, we can enhance the biogas with the 25 to 45%. So it was wonderful. There are 2-3 things which I would like to mention here, because it's a sustainable product. When we say it should, whatever waste is generated throughout India, so it can be collected and processed in the form of this biogas. So second, a few products are microgain, which are microbial culture for composting. These are a few products. Odor expert for odor removal. This is Odo expert, and scum expert. This is also one of the very genuine problem of biogas industry, wherein the scum get formed after installation of a new plant. After 1 or 2 years later, some solids get entangled, and because of that, scum is formed, and that scum is so hard that you can literally stand on those issues. So the main thing which I could found in all these products, whenever these products are formed, actually these are not being designed by me for some like immediate thoughts. But whenever the problems are there, we started thinking on it, and we started to working on it to resolve those issues. So how we could resolve those issues, and from those thought process only we could form these products, and that's how this is a very good product, running product from the industries which are taking it for the scum removal. So And this is one of the things which we could say like in Bharat Swachhata Abhiyan. This would be a very good small product for every individual. We should get. It is only available on an online platform. So these are the things. Hotel food liquefaction system. Some of the trainings programs which we conduct. We have a few projects from government of Maharashtra. With whom we trained 40,000 students. Consultancy, I will skip this thing, time is over, I think. These are a few of the services which we do. Basically for the services are for the biogas industries only, wherein we do a biogas potential analysis and those things. So these are the things. And I would like to say that eliminating waste before it eliminates us, and this is the actual process, because you all know what the condition of waste is. So for that purpose, the scientists and all the stakeholders from this ecosystem need to work on this, and it's a very beautiful platform of bioproduct day from where we could initiate this process to eliminate the waste. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Polkare. Next, we will move to the students' pitch section. We have with us Sneha Verma, our PhD student, who will present a pitch on green buildings.
So to share, please, to share. Is it visible? No. Exit sharing. We need to have we can put the entire meeting. Did you share? Can you see it? Yes, yes. Then it will take 2 seconds to get that.
Should I start? Yeah. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Neha. I'm a PhD scholar here. So I will be giving a pitch on bioproduct use, which will be used for addressing urban biomanufacturing. Now imagine if the buildings in our cities could breathe, not just stand as concrete blocks, but actually clean the air, capture carbon, and even produce valuable products. Now that's the power of bio-integrated algae buildings. Cities are rapidly
Excuse me, in the display settings, please go to the duplicate. First click on the display settings.
One sec, please.
And then duplicate slideshow. Yeah. And then hide, which is appearing below. Yes. Now please go ahead.
It hides everything. Okay. Yeah.
Cities are rapidly expanding. Over 50% of the world's population now live in urban areas. And with that comes enormous pressure on air quality, energy consumption, and carbon emissions. Buildings alone are responsible for over 30% of global energy-related carbon dioxide emissions. In countries like India, cities like Delhi, Mumbai, and Kolkata are constantly battling air pollution and heat islands. So how do we respond to this? Now the answer might be simpler than we think and surprisingly green: microalgae. These are microscopic photosynthetic organisms which have the unique ability to capture carbon dioxide, produce oxygen, and grow rapidly using just sunlight, water, and CO2. Now, these are not just green dots under a microscope. They are often considered as biological powerhouses. Unlike larger plants, they have faster growth rates, with some species capable of doubling their biomass within hours. This makes them highly efficient at carbon fixation. In fact, on a per area basis, microalgae can absorb 10 to 50 times more carbon dioxide than terrestrial plants. What's even more impressive is the versatility. Microalgae can be cultivated in compact bioreactors and can be literally installed anywhere, on building surfaces, rooftops, or even vertical walls, making them ideal for dense urban settings where land is scarce. Microalgae also support sustainable solutions across multiple industries through the production of diverse, high-value bioproducts. So what if we just integrate microalgae into a building design? We are not just adding greenery, we are embedding living bioreactors that actively contribute to urban sustainability. It's biology meeting architecture in the smartest, greenest way possible. Is there any proof of concept? As a matter of fact, yes. There is a fully functional building, the BIQ building in Hamburg, Germany, which was built in 2013 as a part of the International Building Exhibition. This innovative residential building features a facade made up of glass panels filled with microalgae cultures. Now, how does this work? The sun here acts as a primary energy source, powering the algae growing inside flat photobioreactors. These algae use sunlight to photosynthesize and grow, producing biomass. This biomass is then sent to a reactor where it is converted into electrical energy, helping power the algae integrated building. The heat generated during this conversion is redirected to the building's power station, where it is used to warm water for both the building and the swimming pool. Meanwhile, the carbon dioxide released during the energy production is fed back to the algae, creating a sustainable and a self-sustained cycle. There are multiple challenges to make this plan in India. High initial cost, extreme climate condition, lack of awareness and technical expertise, space constraints, and low public-private investment are few of them which delay the acceptance of algae integrated design. We need to take few steps in order to tackle this. First, the government can offer incentives and clear policies to encourage adoption. Second, we need pilot projects, real buildings with algae facades to show that this idea actually works. Third, research institutes and startups can work together to create a low-cost, climate-friendly system suited for Indian cities. Finally, we need to spread awareness as well as train architects and builders that will help make the green innovation part of the mainstream urban design. With the right push, our buildings could soon clean the air while looking cool doing it. So in a world where cities are at the heart of climate crisis, algae integrated buildings offer a powerful reminder. The path to sustainability can begin right at our homes. Thank you.
Thank you, Sneha. Now I request Dr. Raman Murthy to please administer the pledge. I request all the NCCS members who have joined in the live feed in the auditorium to please also join in. Thank you.
Don't accept immediate. Stop sharing.
We, the people of Pune, in the state of Maharashtra, wholeheartedly affirm our commitment to the vision of the BioE3 policy of the government. A strategic framework to build a sustainable, inclusive, and innovation-driven bioeconomy grounded in environmental conservation, economic opportunity, and employment generation. Recognizing our state's unique scientific, ecological and cultural context, and immense potential of our bioresources, we pledge to implement the BioE3 policy with dedication and leadership, guided by the following principles and priorities. Promote and actively collaborate on bioproduct innovations to unlock local and national potential. Establish and promote biotech innovation hubs that drive a regenerative circular economy. Enable biomanufacturing hubs and industrial scale hubs for clean and sustainable production. Generate employment and build green skills, especially to reduce, recycle, and repurpose waste. Ensure bioethics and equity across all aspects of bioeconomy, development, respecting community rights, responsible science, and just transitions. We recognize that the future lies in an economy that regenerates rather than depletes, empowers rather than excludes, and embraces future technologies to co-create nature. We pledge to lead our state and our nation towards a bioeconomy that is inclusive, climate resilient, ethically grounded, and globally competitive. Thank you.